You're thinking of buying a condo in Sarasota, and everyone keeps telling you, you make sure that you review the reserve study. But what exactly is a reserve study, and why is it so important? In this video, I'll tell you what it is, how to read it, and why the information in it is so crucial in determining the financial health of a condo association. A reserve study is a budget planning tool that's used by community associations. Because an association is responsible for all the structural components in the community, they must have an inventory list of those components. They need to know approximately when those components are going to need repair or replacement. They need to know how much to expect to pay for the repair or replacement of the components, and therefore know how much money they need to set aside for this. Reserve studies are typically done by engineering firms who specialize in community associations. They're the ones that take the inventory and determine the condition of the components. But it is a reserve study specialist who takes that report and interprets it to decide how much money the association should be saving. So when you're considering buying a condominium in a community, you'll want to check and make sure that that reserve study was interpreted by a professional and not just by somebody who sits on the board of directors in the community. The best way to read a reserve study is to skip all the fluff and go directly to the summary. That summary will tell you what components are going to be in need of repair or replacement the soonest, and what components are going to be the most expensive to repair and replace. The association's biggest concern should be those components that are coming up for attention in the next 5 years. The summary will also make funding recommendations based on the results of the reserve study. It will tell the association how much money it needs to put aside on an annual basis for its reserve fund account. Now you can go in and compare the recommended amount of contributions to the actual amount of contributions, and simple math will tell you if the association is falling short. So if you find that the association is falling short, should you avoid buying a condominium in that community? Maybe. You'll need to do a little more digging. And if based on that digging you find that the association has no idea how they're going to come up with this money, you are for sure going to face some special assessments down the road. But you might also find in your digging that the association actually has a plan for how they're going to avoid impacting the unit owners with big lump sum bills. For instance, with the guidance of their engineering and reserve study partners, they might be able to prioritize their projects in such a way that it eases the burden on the unit owners. Or they might take out a loan from a financial institution that will give the association a big injection of cash if that's what it needs, but ease the repayment to the unit owners over time in the form of loan payments. How do you know if the association has a plan or not? Well, one way is to talk to some of the other owners in there, or if you're lucky, talk to someone who's on the board of directors. They might tell you or they might not. So a for sure way to know, and this is something that I recommend in my free guide that you can download called Condo Document Checklists. I always recommend that you ask for and read the last 12 months board meeting minutes for the association. In doing so, you will find out what they have been discussing and the solutions they have been talking about. So now you know that a reserve study is really the financial planning roadmap for the association. And reserve studies have long been recommended as a planning tool. But in 2022, in response to the tragic collapse of the Champlain Towers in Surfside, Florida, the state of Florida ramped up its legal requirements for condo associations in obtaining and adhering to their reserve studies. If you want more information about those laws that were enacted in 22, watch my video called New Condo Laws 2022. In that video, I talk about the first wave of laws. Those laws continue to be refined every year in an effort to provide safety of the condo buildings for its occupants and also to protect the feasibility of owning a condo in Florida.